Dr. Keller. I'm Jonathan Farrell, and I am here to present you my professional immersion presentation. I'm going to go through some of my duties, how long I've been here at Interface, what my problem was within my organization, how I've researched to solve it, and the solution itself. You are watching this video via YouTube, so I suggest that you open up the PowerPoint that I provided you in the email with this link so you can view the presentation with a better quality. Let's go on to slide number 1, just an overview of myself. I'm graduating in May 2017 with a Master's of Business Administration, or an MBA. I'm employed with Interface Performance Materials Incorporated. I've been there since November of 2014, so I just finished my second year and going on to my third year with them. Just a background of the company. We're an automotive supplying company where we're both Tier 1 and Tier 2, meaning that we produce our own parts and materials as well as raw materials and part material for other suppliers. Our products are gaskets, and then our materials are thermal and acoustic insulation for vehicles, such as dampening the sound in a car or reducing the heat in an engine bay. Our annual sales are about $150 million per year. So we're small, but we're not all that small at the same time. My personal duties at Interface are, the main duty is to manage, organize, monitor, and maintain sales projects along with the sales database for the sales representatives. I essentially see all of the projects of sales from other customers from the start to the finish point, and as well as the projects that don't end up going through all the way. I also conduct market research for market expansion. That's kind of the fun part of the job. I get to kind of create little marketing plans for new products. And then my third duty is to assist with marketing tasks such as literature and outreach. However, that's maybe 5% of my total time there. Going on to the problem within my organization mainly has to do with our sales database. Our sales reps are not proficient within our own database. They simply don't like using it because there's too many required fields to fill out when starting a new project. And this can take very, very long to complete because there's anywhere from 20 to sometimes 50 fields for one project. And then one of the reasons why they don't like keeping up on the status of their projects within the database is because a lot of the fields aren't really they're not needed for sales projections or a production schedule, to be honest. And the second problem within the main problem is the communication between the sales reps and the project managers. It just simply isn't there, mainly because they don't like using the sales database, so the managers, besides calling the sales rep directly, don't know how to track the project of any other sales project. And then the third part of the problem is there's no training that exists for our sales reps to use our database correctly. And that is truly the root of the problem of our database not being efficient. Going into the research techniques that I used in this project was actually pretty simple. My main research was talking to the sales reps directly. I figured that the best way to get to the bottom of the problem is to actually go to the problem itself, which are the sales reps. And I simply asked what they don't like about the current database and what they prefer about it, and then also how can that be changed to make it easier for them. I then researched on my own time through whether it was through books or the internet or any other kind of external research outside of my company, was how to use technology to make our communication most efficient. And that was very difficult because our particular sales reps and most of our executives are from a generation before me, 2 generations actually. So they don't use technology to further their communication and be as efficient as possible. So that was really, really hard to initially pitch this idea, because this idea has been in the works for over a year, but it didn't really start coming alive until August and September, when they really started realizing that, hey, this database can be used to further our communication and our projections for sales. The third research tech I used was to meet with the marketing vice president, most of the general managers, and a lot of the IT employees. This provided knowledge of not just the solutions themselves, but the limits of the solution. And this is actually probably where I spent most of my time when I really look back at it. I had multiple meetings with the IT manager and one of my other co-general managers of how far can we push this database to make it simpler, but even more effective. The solution itself might actually sound simpler than what it sounds, but we divided the database into two separate databases. The main database is going to be used for projects that are worth over $50,000. And this particular database is still going to have all the same required fields as it previously did, only because of the importance of these projects. Since they're worth more money, there's more risk involved, but there's also more opportunity involved at the same time. And the sales reps were very understanding of this because it was mainly the projects that were smaller that they didn't want to fill out all the fields because they really made no impact. And that goes into section 2 of my main solution, where you can see here that the used sales projected values under $50,000 are going to be their own database at the same time. And we cut down the required fields of, it depended what sales rep you talked to, but some said there were 20 fields, some said there were 50. And depending on what version of the database they used, because there was more than one that existed, there were 50 fields. However, we have cut that down for projects valued under $50,000 to only 7 required fields. So it takes no more than 15 minutes to input a new project in the sales database if it's under $50,000. And then going back to the section 1, the main database for over $50,000, the fields are at 22. The secondary solution, which is linked to the main solution of dividing the database, is creating a sales database training program. This was much needed because our sales reps just didn't know how to operate the sales database to begin with. So, how did we do that? Well, the first thing was we included a formal training event held on December 1st. This went quite well. We're actually going to hold another one after the New Year's because not all of them could make it, and it was virtual, by the way. It was not only at one of our headquarters because we have multiple headquarters around the world. And this went over with an employee actually going through both databases step by step and showing the sales rep, this is how you go from this process to this process, and this is how you do it the easiest and quickest way. Because that is truly what the sales reps need when they're on the road all the time. They don't need all that extra time to be spending putting in a new project. They need to be out there bringing in more revenue. The second part to the training program was providing an instructional guide with screenshots and directions. I personally put this one together on my own time at the company. And essentially I had a direction of when to start with a screenshot with a red outline on the part that they had to click on and fill in for all the required fields on both the main database for above $50,000 and the sub-database below $50,000. And then the third part is we actually recorded digitally the December 1st training event so we can have this on our resources page on our VPN. And this is great for any new sales reps that are coming in since our company is actually growing right now. We're looking to grow more sales reps to grow our territory, and they're going to be able to reflect on not only the instructional guide, but the actual video tutorial of our overall training. For my ending notes and references and summaries, I just want to thank Lourdes University for really giving me the knowledge and the drive to discover problems before they actually exist and then coming up with a solution for them, because this saves companies lots and lots of money in the future. And it's a very valuable tool, and I use it more than I would have ever thought when I had started not just my undergrad here, but also my MBA program. And I also want to thank all my coworkers for guiding me and giving me the chance to enhance Interface's sales communications, because this was much needed, but they're also very patient with me. And this was a very touchy subject when we first started this. No one wanted to do it. No one wanted to take the time to do it. So I stepped up along with one of my co-managers, and we made this happen, and it was all possible because of the cooperation throughout the whole entire organization. And then lastly, there is a link on here for Interface's website if you so desire to check it out, and I am very pleased with how this project turned out, and I think that Interface is truly going to benefit from this project, whether I'm with them 30 years or not from now. Thank you.